Welcome to Chapter 1 for our Benefits and Compensation course. We have two textbooks that we are using in the next 11 weeks together, and I will be giving different lectures throughout the course based on the different chapters that are embedded within your 11-week series. So this lecture begins with Chapter 1 from the Strategic Compensation course, which you'll know I highlighted in your syllabus as SC Chapter 1. The chapter title is Strategic Compensation, a Component of Human Resource Systems. This is a really foundational chapter that gets us set up for the next 11 weeks. Starts by delving into the concept of compensation. What is compensation? Compensation is what an employee receives for the job that they do for the organization. There are several different types of compensation, whether it's monetary or internal rewards. The chapter begins with intrinsic or extrinsic rewards. Are you familiar with those two terms? Intrinsic is a type of reward system where employees feel valued for the work that they have done from within. They have huge sentimental value around the attaboys, the certificates, the job well done. They'll stay late, they'll work harder if they know that they are being appreciated in the organization. Those that are externally motivated are ones that perform better, perform more, take on overtime because they're looking for the monetary value. So there are two different types of compensation that employees receive for doing their job. That starts off the chapter. Looking at the core compensation, the basic elements of core compensation, there are two types. There's a base pay that every employee receives. Depending upon different types of job, different types of industries, there will usually be a base pay that's associated with the position. Whether it's $5 an hour, $10, $50 an hour, there's a base pay. Then there can be adjustments made to that base pay. Bonus structures, merit pay, incentive pay, cost of living adjustments. The chapter does a great job of really detailing all of these different types of base pay adjustments. So there are two types of employee benefits. One are those that are legally required benefits, either from the federal standpoint or from the state standpoint. Those are benefits that an employee must receive through their organization by law. Then there are discretionary benefits. Those are benefits that an organization can choose whether or not to offer to an employee to their given classification. So every employee that works in McDonald's makes at least minimum wage. They might get an incentive bonus if they produce more than X amount of widgets in a month. Then that's a base pay adjustment or an extra bonus that they might receive. The chapter does a great job on hitting some of the historical elements, why we have these legally required benefits. Make sure to look through some of those. Strategic versus tactical decisions. When we are making these decisions with regards to compensation and benefits for our employees, there are a lot of elements that need to be in play before we just slap a base pay amount on an employee, an individual, or their job title. Strategic decisions guide the activities of companies in the market. If we have electrical engineers that make $50,000 to $60,000 a year, the strategic decision would be to research in our area and to match that base pay accordingly. Tactical decisions, they support the fulfillment of our strategic decision. A little bit like an organization's mission and value, one supports the other. Competitive strategy. Like I just mentioned in our previous example, if we are looking to hire an electrical engineer, we want to make sure that we have competitive wages. There might be an organization that is hiring for the same position across the street, across town, and a neighboring city. We want to make sure that our wages and our benefits are competitive. We have different organizations that might offer lower base rate pay, but they have higher benefits that really equal out. For example, I work for the state of California, so we receive a lower base rate, but we have great benefits that really make up for that in the end, from health insurance, 401k options, time off, things of that nature. Different types of pay advantages, different types of pay scales based upon the industry that you work in. If you're working in human resources, you'll delve very deeply into this. If you have a larger organization, you might have someone dedicated specifically to benefits and compensation. It is a very lofty topic, especially when you're discussing all of the federal and state rules and regulations that are associated with benefits and compensation, base rates of pay. human resource practices, market competitiveness. All of these are topics that are coming up in Chapter 1. This is really going to give us a broad overview for what's to come in the next 11 weeks. I want to keep each of these videos about 5 minutes or so that we're not spending too much time listening to me when you're going to be reading your textbook. As you look through the syllabus, make sure that you're reading everything thoroughly before you begin with your assignments. We will have weekly burning questions. This is a forum where you can post a question to myself, to your fellow colleagues in the class, anything that you read that you would either have further questions on or you would like more information about. Go ahead and post that there. Pay grade ranges, that really wraps up Chapter 1 and what stakeholders are. There are different types of stakeholders in an organization. The concept of a stakeholder is someone that receives something back from the organization, whether it's an employee, the employer, or an outside associate. Someone that might just have rights to an organization, might own some stock, something of that nature. So that's where Chapter 1 wraps up. We're off to a great start.